Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday, guys. Thank you for checking out another video. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And my team got another win. They're picking up some momentum. The Mets. I guess since they revamped the lineup and all that stuff, they're doing pretty good. We had a couple of home runs tonight. But guys, this is not a good topic about this child passing away in a hot vehicle in Cordova, Tennessee. I spoke about this about 5 days ago. When I got wind of this news last night, I just couldn't believe it because I did a video, I believe exactly 4 days ago before this now incident with a 6-year-old child, non-verbal, autistic child, forgotten on a school bus in Tennessee. Now, basically the same thing I said in the video occurred. And when I did that video that I said, please do not leave pets, children, adults, the vulnerable in a vehicle unoccupied. Just don't do it. And the same exact thing I said transpired. And even when I did that video 5 days ago, I said, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know who needs to hear this. And the same thing happened, and I'm just blown away. And the poor victim is Winter Jones. Her dad went to pick her up at the from the daycare, and the poor kid was in the van the whole day, where temperatures rose to about 97, 99 degrees in Tennessee. Tennessee didn't even cross my mind when I said what I said, you know. But apparently they picked this child up from home and took her to school because she's in a daycare. And someone dropped the ball. Many people dropped the ball because there's supposed to be checks when the kid gets on the bus, when the kid gets off the bus, when the kid gets into the facility. And nobody realized this child, a non-verbal autistic kid, is missing. No one noticed that she's not at her desk in her classroom. When that bus picked her up, the matron and whoever it is that's on the bus, because you have the driver and you have the matron in the bus tending to the kids while they're on the bus. And the bus driver has to check the bus along with his partner, because whoever he's riding with that day, that's his partner, he or she, whoever, I don't know. And no one went behind each other and checked to make sure this kid is not on the bus. I don't get it. 6 years old in the hot summer. It's August. It gets very hot in a lot of states, very hot. And the reason I said what I said was because I sat in my vehicle and I know cars get hot. I know that. I know vehicles get hot, especially when the windows are up and everything. But like, I did the video and I consciously sat there for a few minutes and the vehicle got so hot. And it's the same thing one of the pediatric doctors saying, that a vehicle with the windows up in this temperature in August, in these months, inside, if it's 99 degrees outside, 97 degrees outside, the vehicle inside without the windows rolled down or any kind of air ventilation gets up to about 120 degrees, 140 degrees within minutes. Lethal, deadly. And so many people dropped the ball and failed this child. Clearly the kid can't yell or scream and alert people that she was inside the vehicle the whole day. They did not discover this child until 3 p.m. 3 p.m. in the evening. And then the hysteria begins because now they see this child unresponsive and everybody is yelling and screaming. The cops respond to the scene and realize the child obviously needs medical attention. Imagine sitting in a hot vehicle, my God, from morning till evening. And at no point, no one realized this child is missing. No one, until the father went to go pick his kid up. And the child is locked away in a school bus the whole day. And no one saw this coming. I mean, at no point did no one go out into the yard or wherever they go and wherever they keep their buses, the vehicles. No one saw that the child was there. I don't get that part. I don't get that part. This is the article here with of the incident. My God. And this is our little victim, poor child, Winter, beautiful kid. Didn't even stand a chance. She sat there all this time, all these hours. That's her and her dad. And like her uncle said, no one was there to advocate for this child. She can't advocate for herself because she's nonverbal. She can't speak. And this is why I said, please do not leave your pets, your animals, the elderly, the vulnerable, anybody with any kind of health condition in a hot vehicle, even if it's in the wintertime. Because likewise, it's going to get cold in the winter months. If someone is locked in they can freeze to death. The same way somebody can be cooked to death in a locked vehicle. You know, when I saw this last night, it came up on my feed and my heart dropped. It sunk because I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And as I sat there and watched the reporter speak about this incident, I'm like, I didn't even know I would see something like this 4 days later. That a kid passed away in a hot vehicle. Funny thing is, this article, when I read this article, she is, I believe, the 9th child to pass away this year in the heat. They're forgotten in a hot car. They forget about the children in a hot car. Well, this one here, I don't know. They might just shut this facility down because people are gonna get arrested for this. I mean, forget about the lawsuit that the family's gonna file, but it doesn't bring back their child. It doesn't bring back their child. And a lot of times these institutions, they get shut down and they come back with another name. They come back with another name. You know? But this is just more than sad. More than sad. This child was only 6 years old. 6 years old. And she, like I said, they didn't discover her until 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. So at lunchtime, if this kid went in the building in the morning, no one even noticed that she wasn't accounted for at even lunchtime, at noon. Nobody walked by the vehicles in the yard and even noticed that a kid was inside the vehicle. I don't know. You know, they're investigating this thing, and I'm sure there will be arrests made in this case. There will. I'm going to keep a close eye on this, because I still can't even believe that I'm looking at this. I'm reading this, you know, in just 5 days. 5 days since I said what I said. And the uncle of, you know, saying that his brother is distraught. Clearly, I can't even imagine the nightmare this father is going through, coming to pick his kid up, and the child is no longer, no more. The brother is saying that the father, Christopher Jones, the uncle, is saying that his brother Bryan is distraught following the news. You know, they said that it was 97 degrees when they discovered the child at 3 p.m. 97 degrees. And she is the 19th kid to meet their demise. She's the 19th one. According to the nonprofit Kids and Car Safety, at least 18 children have died in hot cars nationwide this year before Winter's death. Her death brings the number to 19 nationwide. And in Tennessee, Winter is the third child to die after being trapped in a hot car this year. The second death happened just days ago during the same heat wave. The first one was reported in April. My God. Guys, don't leave your pets. Don't leave your elderly. You're vulnerable, because clearly this precious little child here is what we call the vulnerable. She's nonverbal. She cannot advocate for herself like her uncle states, because she can't speak. You know, so when you have children who are autistic or they have special needs and they can't alert us immediately to say this is happening, that's happening, we got special attention, eyes in the back of your head watching these kids. And you mean to tell me, this is another thing that baffles me. If you're working with special needs, nonverbal, this kind of population, you have to be more vigilant. You have to be more vigilant, because they need more care. So I'm assuming too, like people who go for these positions would have certain training and know how to deal with that population. I can't even imagine what the child was going through, just sitting there, the discomfort, the panic, and even watching the person walk away and the person doesn't return. The person who's supposed to take care of her when her parents aren't around, she's watching these people walk away, her other classmates walk away, and nobody's coming back to get her to get into class. I can't even imagine what that child was going through. You know, my condolences to her family. No parent wants to go through this. No parent. You know, no parent. Especially like the dad said, somebody dropped the ball along the way. Many people dropped the ball along the way. And there has to be a log. The article states, which you already know, there has to be a log of who is using the vehicle. You're checking the kids, which kids are coming on the bus, and you're checking that they've been removed. They disembarked from the bus. So there's a log of all the activities, the in and outs of the vehicle. And clearly, more than one person dropped the ball. When we have children and we're working with children, we're working with certain agencies involving children, the vulnerable, the elder, people who cannot fight for themselves, you guys got to do better than that. You really got to do better than that. When it come on to kids, or you guys know who's been watching me for a minute on this channel, I don't play when it comes to kids. When it comes to kids, I don't play. You have to spend, because again, they cannot fight for themselves. They can't fight for themselves. So when it comes to kids, the vulnerable, people with special needs, I don't play with them. I handle them with gloves, you know, like eggshell. I don't play with them, because you don't know. Sometimes they can't articulate to us. They can't explain to us. They can't express themselves immediately what's going on with them. So we have to pay special attention to them and their needs. And my condolences to the family. You know, even the uncle there, Christopher Jones, he has a special needs son. When I saw his footage on another, when I saw him speak, I heard him, he spoke about his child in one of the news clips. And as he stood outside speaking with the reporter, he's saying the heat he feels standing outside in the open. He can't even imagine what his niece was going through in a locked vehicle without the windows cracked, nothing. And he was sweating profusely outside, standing, speaking with the reporter in the heat. And he said, if he feels the way he feels now in this heat, imagine what his poor little niece went through. Locked away. Locked away. Shame on that bus driver, the matron, the institution, everybody. Shame on you guys. When you're working with kids, don't just think about a paycheck. Don't just think about a salary. You pay special attention when it comes to certain population. Any kid, but when they have special needs, extend a little bit more of your time, your effort when it comes on to this population, because we have to advocate for them. Sometimes they get agitated, things happen, they can't tell us, they get fatigued, they can't say everything or let us know. And it's your training to know, I have a friend who works with, she works with children. So she knows their behavior, right? If we're at the mall or if we're at an outing, she can tell when a child is on the spectrum. Kids gravitate towards her. She can almost tell what's happening with the kid because she's been in her profession for almost 30 years, 27 years, working with children, the special need, kids with special needs and that kind of thing. So when you work with the children and you have that training, you have the eye to see what's going on with kids, you're a little bit more gracious. You extend yourself a little bit more when it comes on to them. But guys, this is a disturbing story. I'm going to keep an eye on it because I know there will be arrests made. They're going to get collared. I don't know if it's going to be manslaughter. I don't know what the charge it's going to be. I don't know. But clearly child neglect, child abuse, all that stuff. But they're probably going to hit them with manslaughter. and they're going to do time. And the system is going to send a message. Yeah? When it comes on to these animals, the elderly, these children, you pay attention to them. You don't lock them in a vehicle and run into the store, not even for a second. The other day I took my pets to the vet. I took them to their appointment. I got them squared away. I came back here, got them out of their carrier, and ran on and go do my little errands and do my business. And that was also a hot day. So I wouldn't even stop for a second in a store to do whatever. First of all, I want to get them out of their carrier. It's not pleasant. It's not comfortable. And they don't like being trapped up in that thing. So I get them to the vet. They get back in their thing. I get them home. I get them out of that thing as quickly as possible. They have their water, their food. I make sure they're together. And I'm on my way again in the streets. Yeah? But that's what you do. And it's the same if you have an adult. That's what you do. You take care of them. And then you go on your way. Yeah? But guys, with that being said, have a good night. And I'll talk to you on another video. God bless.